There are bottles placed on the shelves with prices that make people believe there must be something special inside. But the truth is sometimes completely different. In the world of spirits, many brands are priced high thanks to luxury bottle designs, compelling marketing stories, and the premium image they build in the buyer's mind. But when the cap is opened and you actually taste it, many people start to wonder if they just paid for the quality of the liquor or just for the marketing campaign. Interestingly, while some expensive bottles disappoint buyers, there are ordinary bottles with little advertising and very accessible prices that provide experiences far beyond expectations. So, which bottles make buyers pay more than their actual value, and which are much more worthwhile options? Let's start with the top 7. Top 7. Hudson Baby Bourbon. Hudson Baby Bourbon was once seen as a symbol of the craft spirits wave when it first appeared in the mid-2000s. The brand quickly drew attention thanks to the story of a small distiller and the ambition to create a completely different kind of bourbon. That story helped it stand out in the market, but at the same time, it made many people start to question the true value of this bottle. One of the biggest points of controversy is the volume. The bottle is only about 375 milliliters, nearly half the standard size, but the selling price usually ranges from $40 to $50. When converted to liters, this price becomes much higher than many bourbons that have been aged longer. When tasting it, many notice its flavor is quite young. Sweet corn notes appear clearly, mixed with a bit of caramel and a hint of light vanilla, but the alcohol burn comes quite quickly before the flavor layers can fully develop. This makes many feel like they are paying for the reputation of a pioneering brand rather than for the true depth of the spirit inside. But if top 7 was that controversial, how much will the next names on this list surprise you? Top 6. Basil Hayden's. Basil Hayden's is one of the most premium-looking bottles on the shelf. The tall bottle design, elegant label, and metal ring around it make many immediately think this is a sophisticated and valuable bourbon. With a price usually in the $40 to $50 range, it is placed in the premium segment, where buyers expect a truly memorable flavor experience. But when actually tasting it, many realize that the visual impression doesn't fully match the experience inside. Basil Hayden's is bottled at 80 proof, almost the regulatory minimum, so its flavor is quite light. You can sense a bit of mild spice, soft caramel, and a hint of rye brightness, but it all seems to disappear too quickly. The finish is so short that many haven't even had time to clearly perceive it before the warm sensation fades away. This leads many to question whether they are paying for the sophistication of the design or the depth of the whiskey. But if top 6 made many feel that way, the story at top 5 is even more unique. Top 5. Jefferson's Ocean. Jefferson's Ocean is one of the most unique marketing ideas ever to appear in the bourbon world. Instead of just aging the whiskey in a warehouse traditionally, the barrels are placed on ships and taken on several sea voyages, where they are subject to temperature changes, salty air, and the constant motion of the ocean. This story immediately creates a powerful draw. Buyers feel like they are holding a special experience in their hands, not just a bottle of liquor. But that also makes many start to wonder, does the sea voyage actually make a significant difference to the flavor? With a price usually ranging from $60 to $90, expectations for this bottle are very high. When tasting it, you can sense the familiar caramel notes of bourbon, along with a slight saltiness that many believe comes from the marine environment. However, in many blind tastings, quite a few people realize that this difference isn't very clear compared to much cheaper bourbons. This makes many wonder if they are paying for the whiskey or for the story of the voyage. But if the story at top 5 caused much debate, top 4 brings up a completely different issue. Top 4. Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy emerged with a very interesting idea by deciding to finish bourbon in port wine casks. This method gives the whiskey a different flavor style compared to traditional bourbon. When tasting it, you can perceive notes of dried fruit, sweet vanilla, and a hint of gentle tannin from the port barrels. All of this combines to create a fairly easy-to-drink and smooth experience. Because of this, Angel's Envy quickly became famous and well-loved by many. However, the problem lies in the fact that its selling price is usually in the $50 to $60 range. At this price point, drinkers usually expect a bourbon with superior depth and complexity. Angel's Envy is certainly a pleasant bottle, but many argue it hasn't truly reached the level of richness that the price suggests. As production grows and distribution widens, many are starting to wonder if they are enjoying a special craft bourbon or just a brand that has become too common. And as we move closer to the top positions on this list, the question of a bourbon's true value becomes even more interesting. Top 3. Bulleit Bourbon. Bulleit Bourbon is a prime example of extremely successful brand building. The vintage-style bottle design, distinctive slanted label, and warm colors make it look like a craft product from the Old West era. Many people, when seeing this bottle for the first time, often think it comes from a small distillery with a long history. But the reality behind it is different. Bulleit is owned by a large conglomerate and has become a global brand. With a price usually from $30 to $35, it is not a cheap whiskey, but it's not in the ultra-premium segment either. Regarding flavor, Bulleit has a fairly high rye ratio, so it provides a slight spicy sensation, along with some orange peel and spice. This makes it work quite well in cocktails. However, when drinking it neat, many notice that the mid-palate is quite narrow and sometimes has a bit of oak bitterness. Therefore, while this isn't a bad whiskey, many believe its price reflects the strength of the brand more than the complexity of the flavor. But from here, the list starts to turn toward bottles that surprise many in a completely different way. Top 2. Evan Williams Black Label. Evan Williams Black Label is one of those bottles often overlooked on the shelf, but it amazes many when they actually taste it. With a price usually only around $12 to $15, many don't expect much. But it is that very humility that creates a big surprise. As soon as you bring it to your nose, you can sense the smells of caramel, oak, and baking spices quite clearly. When tasting, the sweetness of brown sugar combined with toasted oak and a bit of light spice creates a feeling much more balanced than more expensive bottles. Interestingly, this brand has a long history associated with one of the first commercial distillers. However, instead of leveraging that story to raise the price, it still maintains a very accessible price point. This makes many whiskey lovers view it as a small secret that not everyone notices. It works well in cocktails and is also interesting enough to enjoy neat. When a bottle can do that for the price of just a few fast food meals, many start to ask an important question. Is it necessary to spend more money to have a better experience? And the answer to this list lies at the top 1 spot. Top 1. Old Forester 100 Proof Tiwi. Old Forester 100 Proof is a clear example of how a long-standing brand can maintain quality without pushing the price too high. With a price usually in the $22 to $28 range, many are surprised to realize it offers a much richer flavor experience than many expensive bourbons. From the very first sip, you can taste brown sugar, toasted oak, and a sensation like fresh-baked banana bread. Then comes a layer of light spice that keeps the flavor lively without being too harsh. The finish is long with a warm feeling that allows the drinker to clearly sense each layer of flavor. What makes this bottle special is the balance between strength and drinkability. With a higher proof, it still maintains a strong flavor structure without losing harmony. This makes it work very well both when drunk neat and when mixed in cocktails. In a market increasingly dominated by hype and advertising, Old Forester 100 Proof seems to do only one thing: provide a good bourbon at a reasonable price. And sometimes, that is exactly what whiskey lovers are truly looking for. The world of bourbon sometimes makes people believe that a high price always equals better quality. But as this list shows, that's not always the case. There are bottles built on stories and images, while others quietly win over drinkers with their own flavor. If you found this list interesting, please hit like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stories about the world of spirits and the things that not everyone tells you.